So today we'll talk about a topic called selection profile. Okay, so so what happens is when we there are multiple ways of processing your freight order. There are different ways of doing it, right? One way is basically to manually attach the freight units. Suppose we have some 4 or 5 freight units created, right? So what we can do, we can go into the freight order and then manually we can attach the freight units and then create a freight order. So that's a very manual way of doing it. That is okay. We'll see that. We'll see subsequently. Second approach is basically to what do you call use tools like selection profile, or rather profiles like selection profile and planning profile. So selection profile and planning profile. So these are the two profiles which are very useful to identify. Selection profile will scope out what all the things which need to be taken into consideration to work on. Rather, for example, if an optimizer has to work on something, then somebody should tell the optimizer, they said, what should I work on? Optimizer doesn't know by itself. It doesn't. It has no that much of intelligence to know what you want. You should tell them. You should tell the optimizer what is the scope within which I should operate. Okay. So the selection profile will come to that purpose. So we will see what selection profile is and what other things will it get to the optimizer. It will feed the optimizer with the demands. So the feeding of the demands to the optimizer is done by selection profile. We will see what all selection things it will do. We will see today. Now, after you feed this demands to optimizer, then optimizer has to do something. It has to what do you call process these demands based on some criteria. So that is step number 2. Step number 1 is fine. Okay, you have all the freight units, this or that. You have the resources and all that. Now, what do I do with this? So, how do I do? What do I do? What should I consider? What should I not consider? All these activities are done by some other profile called planning profile. So in this planning profile, you will use different optimizer programs. So we will come to that. We'll start discussing tomorrow onwards. Maybe in a couple of days, we'll need at least 2 days to go through the optimizer building blocks. So that we will do it tomorrow onward, tomorrow after something like that. Today we will see the selection profile. So let us, I would prefer to first jump into the system itself to understand the selection profile. So what we will do is that we'll go into the system and selection profile activity, whatever we do in selection profile, we do it in Fiori. So we need to go to Fiori. My screen?
Yes, Satish, it's visible.
Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah. So, okay, I will just enter selection. Let's first understand the selection profile. I'll go to the selection profile which I have created, and then I will tell you how you should be creating it. The concept is very simple, so no complications, no, not to think of any difficult this thing. So if you see here, this is TM22 freight unit, freight units. That means we want to select freight units, right? And this selection profile, which the one which I have created, is for selecting the freight units. Why selecting the freight units? Because we want to process those freight units into the freight order. So that's the purpose of us creating this freight unit. Now let us see what is there inside. So as you click this, and it is customizing. So so let me take this. Okay, so this is the screen what you get to see. So we are looking into the selection profile of TM22FU, and you know, the first thing what should strike you or focus where you should you know look at is basically there is this selection profile on one corner, and then you have something like this: time related selection attributes, then geographical selection attributes, then additional selection attributes. So you have, you know, you have some attributes selection which are available here. Okay, so something to do with time, something to do with geography, something to do with some additional stuff, you know, provision is provided. Now this one, selection profile, has got a couple of things like general data, selection profile, then a simple description, and number of objects you want to select, like, you know, number of freight units you want to select. That you could give 25, 50, 100 and all that stuff. That is fine. Now, as you come down below, you will find profile assignments. Now, what is this profile assignments? These profile assignments are nothing but the same things what you are seeing here, right? So time related selection attributes, time related selection attributes, geographical, additional, everything is the same. Now, what is this all about? Okay. Now, this these things, TRSA TM22, right? Then GSA TM22, add TM22. Now, these are nothing but what you see here. Like for example, if you see time related selection attributes, right? If I click on that, what happens? So what is it saying? It is saying that it is give this address is what you have given here. You have given this address, and the same thing is reflected here, right? TRSA TM22. So here you can just copy and create your own freely. You can just freely, you know, copy from an existing one or copy new or something. We will see that, okay, how it is done. So you can do that. So now the same thing, what is mentioned here, it is available. Why SAP gives this option is that, you know, these attributes, they can be utilized in some other place. If at all you want to freely utilize these you know, these attributes and all that in some other area, then you will be able to create them separately, and you can assign them here. Okay, we will see that. Okay, I don't want to confuse you more on this. First, let us get into this one, and then I'll come back to these things. You should not get confused. That's important. Okay, now time related selection attributes. Let us see that. So time related selection attributes, some you know, code is given. Underneath that, there is some description which is there. Okay, so these are all time. That what